Welcome. My name is Marlys Cervantas, and I'm Department Chair of the Humanities and Communication Department at Cowley College. I also serve as Director of the Creative Writing program here. And today we are working with the Mass Communications program at Cowley College, teaming up to bring the first Writer's Corner of the 2021 academic year, and we are so thankful to them for working with us. The extraordinary writer Neil Gaiman said, "Everybody has a secret world inside of them." You will be hearing a bit of those worlds from some of my favorite young writers who will present a few of their original works. For over half of these writers, it's the first time to present their works in this type of public format. It can be very different, somewhat scary, to present works you yourself have written. Gaiman also tells us, fairy tales are more than true, not because they tell us that dragons exist, but because they tell us that dragons can be beaten. Writing can help us manage life as well, and you will see this in some of the works you will hear. People managing life through words. It's remarkable what writing can do, what people experience and can teach us, what wisdom they have already achieved. I hope you appreciate their writing and their diverse personalities as much as I do. Enjoy.
Hello, my name is Helen Matick and I'm a sophomore here at Cowley College. I'm the current president of Creative Claws and I'm a creative writing major, naturally. And I would like to teach creative writing at a college level someday. So today I've got two poems to read to you. The first one is a duplex called Maybe I Want. Love is something many don't understand. I don't get it, but even I want a wedding band. I don't get it, but even I want a wedding band. But then I wonder, is it even worth it? Then I wonder if it even is possible to be in love like that forever and always. That really sounds nice, forever and always. I like to think I could be like that too. Everyone thinks they'd like to be like that too. And maybe it's something I really could get into. Love, marriage, maybe it's something I could get into. It would be nice, ideal. It would be so lovely. I'd like to be in love, the passion. It's so lovely. Love is something many don't understand. That was my first duplex, and now I have one last poem. It's a free verse called Birds and Bees. Birds and the bees, bees and the birds. We all know what comes next, strolling in the carriage, but not before marriage. Between woman and man, the seed is planted and is supposed to sprout. That's how a happy family is brought about. Successful woman in all her worn glory. That's the story, that's all. But I never wanted what was expected of me. I will never carry planted seeds, no sprouts. Birds without bees, bees without birds. The carriage still in the store, no awkward marriage eyesore. A seed is never planted, but a tree remains anyways. And those are my two poems, and I hope you enjoy.
Hi, I'm Garrett Bogle. I'm majored in creative writing and business administration as a dual major. Today, I'd like to share 3 pieces with you that I feel will hopefully encapsulate a lot of the feeling of this chilly, spooky time of year. My first piece is something of a Halloween favorite of mine. I call it Shallow Graves. Sandalwood coats the bones of my beloved, married now to a shallow grave on Umbrella Hill. Worms lick her as I did, a pretty popsicle with a sickly sweet tang. For a time, I lived a lie. I sleepwalk amongst dreamers with eyes shut to your shimmering bliss. But in the blink of an eye, mine were opened. You, beauteous flesh, you brimming skull of fertility, my unfettered bride. Oh, wonderful. Sometimes nothing is better than time spent apart, to be revived from my husk, to see one's passion revived. I'll love you once more tonight, up on old Umbrella Hill. I always think of various Halloween movies for this time of year, and they give me quite a bit of inspiration to pull from, I hope you'll find. My next piece is something that I like to think of when I see piles of leaves like bonfires dotting the landscape around my home. This is Phoenix Girl and Continent's Content. I held a butterfly by the wings and watched it fall apart. Later, just as I had done, you tore into my heart, you whose gentle beauty knows no equal, you whose curves are defined by the modest air's draping, and whose temperature is justly wicked and wickedly just as your breast's mountains heave and break with each steady breath you take. It seems, no matter where I turn, you'll always steal my gaze. I see you in the dreaming night, while still you haunt my days. Sometimes, when I tire and forsake life itself, you visit me in the fire and burn for all the world. Phoenix Girl, Continent's Content. Finally, I have something of not a favorite, but an old artifact of mine from a time when I was frankly very, very angry with myself, angry with a certain someone. I hope you'll try to understand where I was coming from. This is Copperhead. I know you've tasted the morning air on your two-pronged tongue. You swallowed my world whole, and still the hunger remains festering away. Your lordly robes hide a black-stained breakaway blade, scabbard and torn hide, like the face that you shed when we're alone. You take the truth, and you tangle it into a ball, an appalling, mangled corpse of leads and lies, and that even flies wouldn't dare touch. Yet you choke it down with a maddened grin. A sharp-toothed, grim maw that mutilates your many victims till you're made a sea serpent, whose kingfisher flies over a sea of spilled blood and bile, but still you smile. Smile on, you faithful, fetid Gorgon, and look for your next life to end. Look for your next icy heart to crack, to shatter into bitter pieces of diamond dust, just because. Sorry to leave you on a bitter note, but I hope that the one I wrote this poem about will reconsider their choices. I'd like to bid you a fond October and a happy Halloween.
I'm Morgan Bahruth. I'm the sibling of 4 others, the oldest to be exact. We have a bunch of pets, and I wrote a sonnet called Pet Sonnet. The scary world of cats in the alley, the darkness of these creatures and their mystic eyes. There's a sweet one named Cowley. Those cats wait for the people's lies. The sad cries of meows, the cats demanding treats. The meow mix is the cat's chow. When the cat's away, the silly dogs come out to eat. German shepherds are so playful. Dutch hounds are so sweet. Yorkie is so faithful. Cats are so elite. The sonnet of pets, it's the perfect set.
My name is Bryce Runyon. I'm 19 years old, and I really like art, and writing is my second favorite hobby compared to drawing. I'm transgender, and so I wrote this little piece about being unapologetic for being myself, and the title of it is Not Sorry. Say you're sorry, they tell us when we say something rude. You're told to apologize for what you said when it causes emotional harm to another person. Sometimes you said something to hurt someone else's feelings. Sometimes you voiced your opinion and it angered them. It starts as kids, usually when we begin to interact with more children as kids. We say mean things and then get told to say you're sorry before being made to move on. As we grow, we begin to voice opinions and make others unhappy, and they take their unhappiness to authoritative figures who simply tell you to say you're sorry. Sorry for saying you're a jerk. Sorry I said you reflect your poor intelligence by bullying me. Sorry I tried to explain myself. Sorry I made a mistake. Sorry for saying something the others don't agree with. Sorry that I used the bathroom I identify with. Sorry for not being able to fit in with the rest of the class. Sorry for things I cannot control, and sorry for the things I want to control about my life. Sorry for being myself. Sorry for standing up for myself. I'm always being sorry for being assertive. Why do I have to be sorry?
Hi, my name is Sam Creek, and I am a sophomore in the creative writing program. Today I have 3 poems, or 3 works that I'm going to be reading to you guys. The first one is about just some stuff that's been going on this year, especially with the Black Lives Matter movement. I think the piece can speak for itself. Right. The world is not what we once knew. I've opened my eyes to something I've never seen. When I come to see the life of someone new become a murder that takes place on my screen. I hate feeling helpless for my best friend, who lives in fear as the days go by, fearing that this day her life will end, just to be another news story the media will buy. I fear this hatred will never stop, because those who control this climb their ways to the top, while they live their perfect lives in bliss. And through all this tasteless chatter, Black lives will always matter. Okay, this next poem, or not really poem, this next story is basically about my view of my past friendships and past relationships and everything, and like my view on like how I went about with them. So, a lesson I learned the hard way is never to get too attached to someone that you know would be easy to lose. Those you have around you at a younger age are going to lose touch with you at one point or another. Getting attached will never help you achieve what you want, a relationship that will last a lifetime. I know it's something that I will never be able to have, knowing that friendship is more important than a relationship. But there's a feeling of being loved by someone that makes you crave it even more. I can't help wanting this feeling. I crave the affection of another person more than anything in this world. I just only wish I wasn't so self-destructive and tended to ruin good things for myself when I felt happy. Maybe then I could have something good for myself for once. But I have to take baby steps to get there. If I do it all at once, who knows the catastrophe that could happen. But this is basically about my taste in men. The best men are the ones who don't care about what clothes they can and cannot wear. Men who dress in soft colors and aren't afraid to be seen in a collar. A man who will sleep until noon while he's cuddling with me as a little spoon. There's only one type of man that brings me such joy, and that's the beauty of a cute femboy.
Hello, my name is Garrett Johnson. I'm in the creative writing program, and that's also my major. So I wrote this short story. It's called The Train. So here we go. I woke up with a gasp of air. My head was spinning, and I couldn't remember where I was or how I got there. I could feel something like rattling and the sound of machines. I then heard a loud whistle like from a train. That's where I must be, on a train, I said. I could see that this train had a very elegant and expensive-looking interior. A panicked feeling came over me. I don't have a ticket. Where's my ticket? I thought to myself as I started looking around frantically. Someone else on the train noticed that I was looking for a ticket and walked over to me and said, "Don't worry about a ticket. It's not very important to this story, but if it really makes you feel better, you can have mine." He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a shiny piece of paper and handed it to me. On the ticket were the words, "Product of the COR." Underneath that it said, "Train ticket," in all capital letters. That's all that was on it. I assumed that the COR was the company that made the train. I walked over to the window and looked out, but all I could see were stars. I assumed it was nighttime. There wasn't much to see out there, so I started to go back to my seat. That's when I noticed that the train was going in a constant turn. It was just going in a large circle. That's odd. How are we going to get anywhere if we're just going in a circle? I need to find the engineer of this train to figure out what's going on here. I started to make my way to the front of the train. I came to the first door, and when I opened it, I saw 7 armed guards in a sort of meeting room. They turned around, and when they heard the door open, they sprung out of their chairs and started yelling, "Hey, you're not supposed to be in here. This room is off limits." I started to back up. "Calm down, I'm just looking for the engineer," I said to them. "Get out of here. The engineer is off limits too," one of the guards replied. I shut the door and started looking for another way through. At this point, I knew something was definitely wrong with this train. Now I had to figure out what was going on. I then noticed a vent near the ceiling on the wall that separated this room from the one that I was trying to get past. I carefully climbed up some boxes, and when no one was looking, I took the cover off of the vent. I slowly crawled in and quietly made my way to the other side of the room and got out after I had passed the meeting room with the guards in it. Then I was at the front of the train and could see the engineer standing in front of a high-tech control board. This wasn't like anything I had seen in a train before. "Are you the engineer?" I asked. He turned around and looked confused. "Who are you?" he said. I replied, "I'll tell you who I am when you tell me what's going on here." He shrugged his shoulders and said, "Well, I don't really care who you are, but since you're not the main character here, I'll show you what's going on so you'll leave. I've got things to do." He told me to look out the window. Still, the only thing I could see was something like the night sky. Then he pushed a button on the control board labeled "Disable Space Hologram." All of a sudden, the stars and dark sky outside faded away, and I could see that we were in a living room, on a living room floor, on a plastic track. There were 2 giant people sitting on the floor looking down at the train. One was an elderly man, and the other was a much younger kid, possibly his grandson. They both started laughing, as if they knew what was happening inside the train. I guess they thought it was funny to see me come to the realization that I was stuck on a model train this whole time. The end.
Hello, my name is Alisha Moore. I am majoring in pre-law here at Cowley, and I am from Cedarville, Kansas. And today I will be reading my first piece, which is called "This Is Me." A wolf who runs from her pack, a girl who is never satisfied in life. Instead of the boy who cried wolf, it's a girl. This is me. A hard worker who never gets appreciated, a college student wanting to make a difference, a woman who wants to go from rags to riches without a prince. This is me. A friend who fights for her loved ones, a singer who performs in the shower with her hairbrush, an adventurer wanting to travel but is held back, a woman who gets her heart broken by women. This is who I am. Look at me as you would anyone else. This is me. And for my next piece, it's called "The Girl." The girl's past. The girl who listens to her parents screaming. The girl who grows up too fast for her sister. The girl who came out to her mom with fear. The girl who faced a monster and survived. The girl's present. The girl who worked hard towards her career. The girl who gets yelled at by her boss. The girl who talks to her friends through Discord. The girl who falls too soon for other girls. The girl's future hopes. The girl to become the best prosecutor. The girl to find love. The girl to have a family. The girl to keep her current friends. The girl's future fears. The girl to lose her friends. The girl to be lonely. The girl to lose everything she worked for. The girl to lose her family too soon. And for my final piece, it is called "Heritage." My ancestors traveled to America to find peace and freedom, to find love and create families. My ancestors helped build America, worked hard for their families they created, worked as farmers and ranchers. My ancestors fought for America. They weren't in every war, but they were in the great wars this country faced. Even though they did not like war, they would die for this country they loved. My ancestors traveled to America, a once great land, but now I want to leave America.
My name is Braden Snyder. I'm majoring in secondary education, yet I have always had a very strong passion for literature, which has led me to minor in creative writing. However, I'm not a performance writer. This will be my first time I've ever written specifically for this type of thing. My first work is called My Dear the Universe. My dear, your charm is ever vaster than space, for the moon and stars verily feel shame. The sun goes to rest just to save some face. Celestial bodies envy your name. But space doth have an eventual death. Through death doth we keep living on past. We shall live on past time's last breath. Yes, the length of our love is unsurpassed. Heavy gravity between you and I. Grasp me close, I plead, never let me go. Thine passion doth protect us from debris. Thine love doth tend to my heart. Reap what you sow. One loved, two beings conjoined physically, oh, to live this moment eternally. The next is a narrative, still off the love theme. The night was a dark one. The dry clouds blanketed the stars, leaving the two of us feeling more alone than we already were. The cool, crisp, late October wind rubbed briskly against our faces. As I looked at her, she shivered. I asked her if she needed more of the blanket, and she said no. We sat there silently until she closed the distance between us. She then pulled out her phone and to change the song, turning on a turnover song, and then she laid against me. Putting my arm around her and covering our backs with the second blanket that I thankfully had brought with us. I soon figured out the mood as she decided to pull me back, rolling over on top of me. The cold was no longer in charge of the night, as we could only feel the warmth of each other's bodies. Waiting a few seconds, I thought about my options for the next step. Did she want to kiss, maybe just lay there and listen to the music, or perhaps she wanted to take the next step in our relationship? I looked down at her face, and she was fast asleep.
Hi, my name is Michaela Dick, and I'm part of Creative Claws. My major is liberal arts, and I have 3 pieces that I'm going to be reading today. The title of my first piece is Breathe. The writer sees feeling, she breathes it by revealing. The rose is the art of her conception, a painting visualized in ambience color. The room never white, paints away, we save in this way. Create a space of newness, in reality blue color, awaken it. Arouse the senses and pull out the artistry. You are the beauty in your story, write yourself in. For my second one, it's called Battled. A new home he traveled because of the way he battled. Stained marks, blood he battled. I picked a rose from my grandmother's bush, pricked from my grandmother's bush, plush and violet, thorn wounds on my finger. Dark violet, my finger wounds, washed in heavy tears. Guilt into woven in stitches of my tears. The nurse took a rose, the nurse took my rose. Took the cloth in heavy water, blood pure and holy water, the cleanse of my thorns. And then for my third one, my title is called New Love. Come to me in the silence of the night. I pray you find me in my wandering. Past the love of secret stories, you see me as your muse of inspiration. The beauty of presence in a moment, you save me to myself by writing a story. A story that breathes her first into the unknown. Be my new love for a traveler to finding her home.
My name's Seth Valentine. I'm a member of Creative Claws, and I've served in the Student Senate for 2 years, and I got 3 poems for you. My first one is Primordial Dark Oath. Come to me in the silence of the night, weapons drawn, ready for a fight. The dark my friend, the light my foe, I grasp my knife ready to throw. Fiends and devils torment their prey, the innocence is burned away. Leaping from shadows to end their reign, we wield the dark to dull the pain. And then I got 2 tankas, which are an extension of a haiku, basically. And my first one, I just simply titled it Umbra. And it's scars line the body, shadows prance within the mind. From dark you will rise, a silhouette in the night, taking vengeance at first light. And my second tanka is called Ferrari. Red pieces adorn my wonderful Ferrari, built from Lego bricks. Put together by my hands, it rides across the smooth floor. My first poem is called Primordial Dark Oath. Come to me in the silence of the night, weapons drawn, ready for a fight. The dark my friend, the light my foe. I grasp my knife, ready to throw. Fiends and devils torment their prey. The innocence is burned away. Leaping from the shadows to end the rain, we wield the dark to dull the pain. And I got 2 Tonkas, and the first one is called Umbra. Scars line the body, shadows prance within the mind. From dark you arise, a silhouette in the night, taking vengeance at first light. And my second Tonka is called Ferrari. Red pieces adorn my wonderful Ferrari, built from Lego bricks. Put together by my hands, it rides across the smooth floor.
Hi, I'm Anisa Layton, and I'm a freshman here at Cowley. I am a liberal arts major, and I'm really passionate about writing and science and just pretty much those categories. And I have 2 poems for you today. All right, this first one that I have here for you is, Am I normal? Should I try to be? Water down my entirety, going with the flow, never stepping out of line, becoming the line itself. So thin, yet disgustingly thick, made of undesirable corpses, whether it be ambition, value, opinion, buried underneath the surface of carbon copies lacking anything thereof. Oh, how nice it would be to live without worry of fear, of dislike. Nodding, deferring, biting the lip until I no longer think to bite anymore. A pattern of yeses, I agrees, and never a no in the vocabulary. Only words of reassurance to their egos, only speaking what a particular audience wants to hear. How likable, how reserved, how perfect I would seem. But if such a repression should resort to irreversible change, would I still be myself? No, I cannot imagine this life bearable or possible, as imperfection and flaw are inescapable. I was born, unfortunately, some would say, with a backbone, an opinion, and a mouth, and I feel the inclination to use what I was given, though standing or speaking out, it would seem, is the most unforgivable and atrocious sin. But it's too hard to be yourself when the world tells you to be, to think, to breathe as if you're someone else. I cannot speak a word of dissent without hearing the yelling and the clink of pitchforks, taking a step in a different direction without the ridicule, the harassment, the shunning, sharing a liberal post without conservative relatives bombarding me with disapproving comments. Grandma Shelley threatening a heart attack and perhaps spitting in my food at Thanksgiving. And though I do not long for ensuing disapproval and isolation, I feel the urge to defy the normal, to shout from the rooftops my deepest, least liked opinion, to throw the overused trends and silly expectations and suffocating standards in my little blue trash bin and march out into the streets with full pride in who I am, savoring every glare and gawk. I unapologetic, I unfiltered, I uncontrolled, living fully and wholly as me, the truest. And if I ever should wish to fit into a billion-part puzzle of societal structure, who determines the definition of a regular piece when a single shred is a puzzle in itself? No, people are more complicated than puzzles, and I, for one, do not wish to break off pieces to satisfy a bland, oversimplified, pushy aesthetic. I spit on the game and its makers. For the unheard. Can one voice be heard in a raging sea? Among the rest, it must surely be drowned. I see no other way it could be, for I fear that a witless man will be crowned. But foolish it is to think that my voice will matter or change the world. It's revoked. But I can't simply throw away my choice, so I'll shout it proud till voices a croak. Our country, made for debate but can't stand the noise of dissent, woman, child, or man, but they will hear us, they must, when we band. Rise up for each other, unite, we can. Combat the cycle of hatred, mayhem. Power of oppressors will be condemned.
Hi, I'm Jay. I come from Wellington, Kansas. My major is creative writing, and I'm a proud member of the Creative Clause, serving as their vice president. Today I'll be reading two of my pieces, one a short story and one a little poem. We'll be starting with my short story that I've titled The Ride That Never Stops. I faintly hear the muffled voice of the ride technician giving the countdown to departure. 10, 9, 8, she chants. I open my tightly closed eyes and am instantly blinded with flashing lights above me, accompanied by the same generic action music they play at all the roller coasters. I start yelling, even begging the worker to stop the ride and let me off. But my words were quickly drowned out by the passengers around me, eager to get the ride going so they can get to the next one and the one after that. The coaster jolts into motion and begins to click down the tracks. I thrash in my seat, trying desperately to loosen my restraints and flee the ride. I bumped into Maggie next to me one too many times, catching her attention. "What are you freaking out about?" she yells over the roar of excited voices. "We can't be on here. We need to get off before it's too late. We're already coming up on the incline. Just take a deep breath and we can take a break when it's over," she said in her usual reassuring voice while grabbing my hand. Before I could counter her, the cart shot up 80 degrees, leaving me facing the sky. I then stared teary-eyed upwards, horrified at what I saw. The sky was pure gray, with fire-like clouds vibrating in the air. I turned to look below me in disbelief, but wound up staring blankly into a foggy void. Looking back to the front, I noticed all the carts that were previously there had vanished. It was only us now. I sat still, mortified at my realization. As I listened to the clicking emitting from the coaster rising on the tracks, tears began falling down my cheeks. I squeezed Maggie's hand and looked to her for comfort, but only saw a faceless person next to me, looking at me as if they were staring right through me. When the coaster's click started to echo out slower, I turned forward, ready to see what was waiting for me. But I saw nothing. No tracks, no clouds, just an empty drop-off. And with that, the cart fell. Bracing myself for the worst, I was met with nothing but stillness. There was no wind that came with it. There was no force pushing me into my seat. There was just me and Maggie, inching closer to the black void. The closer we got, the darker my vision became until I saw nothing but black. My body floated there for what felt like an eternity. I felt no fear nor panic. Only numbness filled all 5 of my senses. Then there was silence for what seemed like an eternity, until I faintly heard a muffled voice. 10, 9, 8, it chanted as I opened my eyes. For my last piece, it'll be my poem that I have titled Words from a Child. When I think of the future, I see only myself standing alone in a field. The great volcanoes of greed and poverty loom tall over me, blocking out all rays from both the vibrant sun and the gloomy moon. While they erupt in the most mesmerizing way you can imagine, I can only stand still. While watching the ash trickle down around me, I cry. I think to my past, on those cold winter days, watching the snow fall through a window in a warm room. Each passing snowflake different from the other. Knowing they could never be the same gave me hope, but equally made me fearful. The thought that once the most beautiful, soft, and gentle snowflake melts away, it could never be experienced by another again. My heart ached as I drank my hot cocoa. I think to where I am now, to the present, as if it's some type of gift to us all. Is life itself not a gift to all, gifting the chance of humility and compassion? Or shall it be deemed a curse to forever experience self-awareness and the ability to see wrong in the world? Knowledgeable men who indulge the gift speak of an eye for an eye, while people of wisdom who bear the burden of the curse speak of an eye for an eye makes the world go blind.
My name is Aimee Kozushko. I am a 2020 graduate of Cowley College. I am a liberal arts major and have been a creative writing student for the past year and a half. This is my third time at doing this event, and I have really enjoyed it. I am a officer of Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society and the editor and writer for the Mile Marker Review. I have 3 pieces that I have brought today to share with you, so I hope you enjoy. Happiness, Love, and Grief by Aimee Kozushko. Bright blue eyes and soft blonde hair, an inquisitive mind and a beautiful smile. Holidays, birthdays, family, vacations, countless photos and memories. Years of morning snuggles and delightful giggles. Then, one very bad day. Gone, a missing piece, torn from the arms of love and peace. With one quick flight, it was over, our journey complete. Girl, boy, boy, always 3. That's how it was supposed to be. Rainbow Bear, our token, was lost on our last quest. An omen of what was to come. One day, a dream to hold. Keep faith in questioning. Was it healthy? Was it right? A broken heart still loving. To the moon and back. A piece always missing. Longing still. My next piece is called Truths Currently Held. It's 5 haikus written with a friend. This soul shines, designed. Truths revealed, secrets concealed. A patinaed mind. Rolling tide, breath clean. Tsunami wave expected. Hunker down or fly. Devoted to lies, steadfast, resisting, nothing. Bottomless well, freezes. I was wrong, was she? I have learned, she hasn't. She is gone, I'm not. Adventure awaits, I bid thee farewell. Today, I live for me. Peace. And my final piece is entitled Yes, I Am. Yes, I am that woman. I am her. I will no longer tolerate lies. I will no longer tolerate feeling second. I will no longer tolerate deception. Yes, I am that woman. I am her. I will call you out for your hatred. I will call you out for your racism. I will call you out for your selfishness. Yes, I am that woman. I am her. I will be proud, and I will be loud, and I will not be silenced. Yes, I am that woman. I am her. I am standing. I am organizing. I am mobilizing. Yes, I am that woman. I am her. I am speaking. I am shouting. I am believing. Yes, I am that woman. I am her. And I am going to win. Thank you very much.
I am Tyler Thielen. I got a major in creative writing. I'm going to be reading some poems today. Bit of a creative streak, I guess. I wrote these all in quick succession, but I like each one of them. And I'm just going to read them out for you guys today. Number 1, Imposter. I know there is an imposter among us. We fight and argue, nothing getting done. They fight and argue, nothing getting done, but I continue to work all the same. I continue to work alongside my friend, from room to room, fixing and helping. From room to room, fearing and despairing, as more colors fall from the rainbow. As more colors fall, we all creak and crack, until finally we snap and another color disappears. Another color disappears, and it's not the right one. I fear for my friend as that we could be next. I needn't fear for my friend as I lay on the floor. I found the imposter among us. Number 2, Amaterasu. If there exists a hell, my case is clear. My end will be in fire. My past aflame, my sins ablaze, my memories burn me like fire. This house, a frozen hearth, only filled with her desire. Twisted machinations hold my mind tight as I dread the fire. My darkened mind consumes my soul as I throw my innocence on a pyre. My thirst for blood is overwhelming, dousing my once beautiful fire. This mind is nearly an empty shell, only asking, why her? Why did I have to be born to her and face her wrath and fire? I run away from the cold, from the pain, from a liar. My hopes, my dreams, my joy, all of them dead from her fire. I have found a new home, one where I am not judged for being a crier. This place accepts my faults, my fears, and my fire. My new home is full of warmth and kindness. My aspirations can go no higher. I am happy here with my new life, my new team, my new fire. What does it mean to love again, I ask myself when I see that dark-winged flyer. Why do I feel such a burning passion, and why does she stoke my fire? I have built a new life for myself, far away from mother's ire. You shall not keep the sun goddess caged or be burned by my loving fire. Ooh, and now for number 3, Firebird. The sky was warm, blue and calm, the sky soothing like a balm, as you and I raced through the fields, hand in hand, palm to palm. Today I thought couldn't be better. Today I am with you in this fair weather. Oh, never did I think we would be together. Side by side, laying down in the grass. Side by side I am with you at last. Oh, how did I end up with such a lass like you? A cheerful, beautiful thing. Like you, I think this could be more than a fling. Asleep by your side with our love and a ring. And the stars bear witness in the sky above, and the flowers rest in our hands like gloves, as I present to you my love.
Hello, my name is Macy Schreffler. I am a freshman here at Cowley College. My major is creative writing, and I'm here on a scholarship for volleyball. So I have 3 poems that I wanted to share. So my first one is called 6 Years I've Had to Go Through Without You. And this one is about my grandma. She passed away 6 years ago, and she was just like, we went and visited her every summer, and it was just one of the most special times of the year for me. And so I wrote about how much I miss her. So, 6 years I've had to go through without you. 18 years. 18 years of experiences. 12 years of memories locked inside my brain. 18 years of complete happiness. And 6 years without my grandma. So many experiences in 18 years. Yet only one place that truly felt like home. The smell of lavender and the late night fireflies buzzing in our ears. My grandma's garden gnome greeting us as we face our fears. In her beautiful garden we roam. Awaking to the smell of breakfast prepared and the butterflies in my stomach, my nostrils flared and my adrenaline summit. The best place in the world. Damn, I love it. My utopia, my happy place. How much I miss that place. The butterflies in my stomach and the fireflies buzzing in my ear. It just doesn't feel the same here. I miss seeing her beautiful vase and her dinner table covered in fine lace. God has gained an angel, but I have lost mine. To talk to her I am able, but it won't be over the telephone line. My utopia wasn't her coffee table or the sips of wine. My utopia was my sweet angel, my grandma, my divine. So my second poem, well, it's more of like a story, is Love is Lovely. So this one is about a girl who, it's more of a love story. Love is lovely. Love is a confusing emotion that most everyone experiences once in their life. To some people, love is money, luxury, time, or pure chaos. Love is an image in their head that they go to. Love is an image in their head that they go by. Maybe for some it is physical, and to some it is an emotional connection. There is no wrong way of thinking of love. Love is unique to every person and is something you can teach, but also comes naturally. Love is beautiful, but like anything, love can be taken advantage of. Angela is a 17-year-old college athlete, born and raised in California. Her height was perfect as she played volleyball and basketball for her school. She was a beautiful girl. Her straight black hair that just reached her shoulders was usually tied in a tight ponytail with her baby hairs pulled from the sides of her ears. She had luscious green eyes and porcelain white skin. She had long legs, but when she sat down, she looked no taller than the rest of the girls on her team. Angela was a bubbly person, but when she spoke, her eyes dragged and her lips were slow moving. It was the third week of college when Angela was introduced to her best friend Becca's cousin, Taylor. Taylor had the same hair with bright blue eyes. Compared to him, she was short. Taylor's first words to Angela were, "What's up, shorty?" "Nothing much," she laughed. Taylor reached his hand out. "I'm Taylor." Angela reached her opposite arm out and grabbed his hand. "Angela." They both laughed again, suggesting that shaking hands was awkward, and went in for a hug. Through the next week, Angela hung around with Taylor every night after school. They became close friends and enjoyed every moment together. Their friendship felt right and natural. It had felt like they had been friends for years. Taylor had become a huge piece of Angela's heart. After only 1 month of hanging out, she felt like she had someone to talk to who really listened, and in the silly times, they could be silly. What she hadn't admitted, but what had come to light, was her feelings for Taylor. She had never thought of him in that way, but after so many days in a row of having him around, she couldn't help but falling in love with who he was. But she thought Taylor only saw her as a friend, so she couldn't tell him. She couldn't destroy what they already had, because what they had was so amazing. She stifled her emotions. It was Friday night. It was a dark night, and a quiet one. The only sound came from the crickets and the whistling of the wind through the streets. The town was asleep, but Taylor and Angela were wide awake. Taylor had a loud pickup truck that made a worrisome sound every time you started up the car. Angela always made fun of his truck and how it was going to break down at some point. But it was the only car they had. They started up his car. The car rumbled, as always, and they drove over to the dorm across the campus to hang out with one of Taylor's friends. When they got there, Angela could see from the door empty cans of alcohol and spilled beer bottles. As she closed the door, a man offered them both a beer. She felt uneasy and declined the offer. Taylor, on the other hand, happily accepted and continued drinking throughout the night. As the night went on, Taylor's vision grew blurry. Angela watched in worry. She had never seen this side of him. He became careless and belligerent. He was a stranger. Time seemed to pass slow for her, and the room filled. She had never felt like she had to joust for his attention, but in the moment she felt invisible. Slowly fading to the background, "I think I'm going to head out," she hollers. She was met with no response. She stops. The music was too loud, and she was too tired. She grabbed her shoes and walked towards the door. As the door closed behind her, the music faded. The next morning, Angela woke up with a heartache. She had never left Taylor like that. She almost felt like she should have at least said goodbye. She sat in bed thinking about the night, then reached for her phone to text Taylor. When she opened her phone to text him, she saw a text from her friend Becca. "Hey, did you see the Insta post?" she wrote. "No, I just woke up. What do you mean?" Without waiting for a response, she went to Insta and investigated. "Go look at Taylor's post," she wrote again. When she brought up Taylor's Instagram, she came to a picture of a girl and him kissing. She stopped. "Did you see it?" Becca began to spam her phone. "Hello? Ange? Hello?" Angela was in shock. She had just accepted her feelings for him. I should have said something. She rambled in her mind. "Unless this means there was never a chance for us," she shrugged. Her heart had never felt so fragile and torn apart. She didn't want to cry, but the feeling that someone had been blowing in her eyes for an hour made a single teardrop down her cheek, and others followed. She continued talking to herself in her head, hoping she would somehow get over him and they could feel normal again. Knock, knock. She opened her eyes to the sound of somebody knocking at the door. Coming, she responded. As she pulled the door open, the creaking sound of the old wood masked the sound of somebody coughing behind it. She opened it a bit more to see that Taylor was standing in front of her. Oh, hey, what are you doing here? She said with a wide smile as she wiped her tears discreetly. I just wanted to come by. I haven't seen you all day, he said sadly. Sorry, I've just been... He stops her. Have you been crying? No, she sniffles. They sit there for a moment. Okay, yes, she says with an insecure tone. I don't know. I know you like me, Angela. Becca texted me and told me what happened. She what? It's okay. In fact, I wish you would have told me, just said something earlier. But what about that girl on your Instagram, Angela asks. Look, Taylor pauses. I'm really sorry about the other night. I could tell you were uncomfortable, and I left you alone. That girl is really sweet, but I was drunk, and we both understood that it didn't mean anything. And as for the post, let's just say I was really drunk. He laughs. Wait, so you like me too? She asked with caution. Of course I do. I was just too scared to say anything. They locked eyes for a moment and chuckled. Angela invited him in, and everything had felt as it did before. They laughed, did weird secret handshakes, and even tried to cook. They were best friends and nothing could change that. They didn't know the next step, but for now, that was okay. She didn't need him to take her to an expensive dinner or buy her flowers. What they were was enough. They were Angela and Taylor, but that's how it's always been. So my last poem is called Fake Jewels, and it's about kind of going through life faking a smile. Sitting in a room full of people, my empty stomach and leftover tears making me weak. My feelings and dealings about to leak. My past making me stronger, yet in this moment I am weak. Like a disappointing treasure chest full of costume jewels, my fake smiles fools. Those around me think they know me, the real me. But how could they when what they see has been sculpted with different tools? This feeling is hard to see, yet easy to hide. Who could I be when hiding my pride? How many times will I have to hide? So that is Fake Jewels.